Welcome to the Unstoppable Pursuit podcast, where we're pushing the limits in business, life, and health. It's episode 38, and today we're talking about the secrets to success. To the left of me, well, you know who he is. He puts his tighty whities on his head, he sticks his head out the hole, and he says he's a spaceman. I'm Brian Benson, and on my right, well, on my left for you, we have the hardest working man in real estate. His name is George Oberdorster, and he was on episode 9. Make sure you download that and check that out. We had a whole thing on mindset. You're gonna blow your mind once you listen to it. George is the man. We are so happy he's here. We're so grateful for his friendship and his knowledge, and he always brings 100% effort in everything he does. Thanks for being here, brother.
I want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I love the show. I support these guys immensely.
Cheers, George.
At the end of the day,
here's to the Bang Bros.
yes.
I mean, go on.
Just take it out. But honestly, I'm huge fans of the show. Brian and Michael are doing things epic. I mean, seeing the behind the scenes and how they're editing and what the technologies that they're using and what they're doing. They're paying it forward for everybody. It's completely free content. I definitely appreciate this opportunity to be your first guest on the show.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you for
George,
being here.
thank you.
All right. Hey, why waste any more time? What we're going to do is dive right into Mike's Dominate Your Day. You can get his website at michaelstull.com for $19.99, but he's got a coupon if you type in what?
Shoot me an email.
Shoot him an email?
In the subject title, 50 off.
50 off.
You'll get an invoice for $9.99 for a limited time.
Not free shipping, though.
Got to pay your own shipping, people. All right, here we go, and I quote, "You're to the point in your life where playing it safe isn't for you. Being comfortable isn't for you. Being in a spot that is 100% guaranteed and comfortable just simply isn't for you. You've grown to a place where you fully accept adversity, challenges, risks, and dangling off the edge. The feeling you get of hustling and progressing trumps being comfortable any day of the week. The risks and adversity challenge you in ways you can't even put into words, and the feeling it gives you is addictive. So no, you don't want to be comfortable. You don't want to coast along. And you don't want to take the safe way. You want to absolutely destroy everything in your path and keep moving forward to satisfy your hunger for continued improvement and success."
Damn, dude. Good work.
Damn, Daniel.
He wrote that.
Oh, I hope the person that doesn't that I plagiarized from doesn't find
Yeah, right.
I know, right? Why Stull?
All right, we're going to start with you, George. Number 1 on the list of secrets to success is decide while others delay.
So, I mean, for me, the biggest thing is I go head first. I mean, I've actually, from some of my coaches and my mentors, they've told me, they're like, you're dangerous because when you go all in, you just, not only try and get stuff done, but I'm not afraid to make the mistakes because at the end of the day, if you don't make mistakes, you're not doing it right, period.
Short and sweet, baby.
Okay.
We got a guest on that just spits fire and drops the mic.
All right, we're done. Thank you all. We appreciate it. I thought you were going. I loved it.
No.
Hey, I love it, man. And you're right. Like, make a decision. That's my biggest thing on this is like decide while others delay. Have you ever said to somebody, "Oh, where do you want to go eat?" And it always goes back and forth, back and forth.
My fiance, perfect example.
Oh, throw her under the bus. First episode.
I'm like, really?
Sorry, Sean, we love you. All right, throw her right under the bus. Yes, absolutely. Leaders decide, make decisions, and be confident with those decisions. I mean, like George said, sometimes you'll fail, but you'll learn along the way. So that's the whole thing. Make a decision, be confident, and go forward. That's what leaders do. Mike.
I think that, people spend too much time going back and forth and they're just too indecisive about things, and I think you just need to make a decision and be done with it, and let's say it doesn't go as planned, then you adjust and you keep moving forward. But I think that, people put things off for so long, and that's kind of going into our second point, where you just need to make a decision and move forward because, again, we talk about how time, you can't get that back. It's like our most precious asset, and you don't want to lose that time. So just make a decision, move forward, and be confident.
Love it. So begin while others procrastinate. George, talk to us, brother.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there's no perfect time to get started. I mean, at the end of the day, God, it's so hard for me to put this into words because I don't know. I'm drawing a blank at it because, what drives me is every day, my why. I look at my computer screen. Like earlier today, because I'm working on some epic, huge deals in real estate, I always go for inspiration. So, if it's in between appointments, if I have some time, you know where I was today? Tamiami Ford. You know what I saw? A beautiful, brand new 350 Shelby Cobra. And I'm like, that's going to be mine soon. And then as I'm driving by, I'm like, oh, there's a new little new construction community right off Airport Road, Emerald Series by D.R. Horton. I went by and I walked through my future house. And I set those goals up and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm going to hammer away and do whatever it takes in order to achieve my goals.
Yeah, I mean, you have to just start. It's, everybody does. It's just like this podcast. Like, while we could have procrastinated and had the excuse of it's not perfect yet. Oh, we're not at the right time. It's exactly what George said. Like, there is no right time. There is not a right time to start. I don't care in anything. Like, even just me having a kid recently, like, if I could have kept saying, oh, I need to wait, it would have been a freaking 150 by the time I would have had a kid. There's no perfect time. You just execute and you just take action. And you know what? We're all imperfectly perfect. It's not going to be great. So stop procrastinating and take action immediately.
And we waited a little bit of time to actually start this podcast.
We did.
Which, if I were to say I had a regret, my regret would be that we didn't start sooner, because we were texting back and forth saying, well, do you think it's a good time, this and that? And then we kind of started to overanalyze, like our first point here, and then that becomes a delay. Now we're procrastinating, so we finally text each other and said, you know what, there is no perfect time for absolutely anything. You'll never have enough money to have a child. The time may not be right to start a podcast. Maybe you don't have all the people. Like for us, we don't have 20 people like we stated. We have 2 people. Right. We have George helping us today behind the scenes with things as our special guest. But the time, the quote is, the best time to plant a seed was 20 years ago. The next best time is to plant a seed today. Yep. And I think that hits number 2 on the nail.
Yeah,
begin now,
Analysis by paralysis by analysis. What's that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because you gotta stop overanalyzing. We do that all the time, right? It's like, George, how many times you cold call people like frickin' a madman? You're such a beast. Like, how many times have you sat there and analyzed and thought like, oh my gosh, and then while other people are probably making damn calls and you're not.
Yeah, right. First of the month this month. I woke up. I usually wake up 5:45 in the morning, sometimes 6:15 I sleep in. And if I don't reach 25 to 55 people on a consistent basis every single day, I'm not doing my job. And I don't want to be average. I want to be above average and do whatever it takes in order to reach my goals and to feed the hustle.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Awesome. All right, number 3, work while others wish.
For me, my fiance, I'm so glad that my children, my fiance, my friends are so supportive, because honestly, I work around the clock. I've told people, they're like, oh, real estate's so easy, $1 million listing. That's bullshit, period. It actually
And that's a great point.
And oh my God, they don't know what happens behind the scenes. The paperwork, the phone calls, the disappointments. I've had deals fall apart in the last 2 weeks and then bring them back on the tracks 37 hours later. It's kind of crazy. But the thing is, last night, I got a text message from an agent at 11:37. I went to bed at about 12:45, which is exorbitantly late because I usually wake up so early in the morning. And sure enough, as I'm taking a shower, thank God I'm listening to music, my texts, my tweets are going off. 7:40 this morning. George, are you up? And it was some of my favorite clients. They're almost like family already. That closed on a home in Twin Eagles last week. And I'm like, no, I'm not up. I'll be up in 2 hours. Joking around with him, and I'm like, I'm actually taking a shower. I know that sounds weird, but how can I help you? He's like, can you call me quick? So get out of the shower, call him. It's 24/7. I'm always researching, doing whatever it takes.
Seriously, follow George. Like all my friends, follow George, because if you, it was like, what was it, like 2 Sundays ago, I'm just sitting there, all of a sudden, a notification pops up on my Facebook. George is Facebook living at like 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday. I'm like, bro, go home.
Yeah, get a life, George.
This guy works harder than anybody I know, and that's the reality. Like, George, Mike, and I always dream really, really big, and we all have big wishes that we want. Like George was talking about, wishes he has his car, wishes he wants these big things. While the people sit there and keep wishing for it to happen. Oh, I wish it comes, I wish it comes. You got to create that opportunity. You got to create that. You got to will that wish into existence. You know what I mean? So while other people are sitting around saying, man, I wish I had a private jet, it's like, no, you put the frickin', the blinders on and you work till you get that private jet. You work.
Right.
That not everything is earned, nothing is given, period.
And I would use George as an example on this and we've talked about this numerous times before. Lindsay, my wife, talks about it. She says, watch the words that come out of your mouth. Well, if you're sitting there all day long, I wish. Well, I want to do this. I want to do that. You need to start saying, no, I am. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to right now. But George, you say, I wish. But then what do you follow up with I wish? You follow up with action and execution. Like you saying I want, man, I wish I had that Shelby Cobra or the Shelby Mustang. Well, that's not good enough. Like wishing, okay, that's great. That's where it starts. But now what are you going to do? It should immediately be followed by execution.
Ask Mark Cuban, ask Oprah, ask any of these people. They didn't sit there and wish opportunity just showed up in their lap. They worked and created that.
Dude, one time I wished I could win $1 million and throw a penny in a fountain and jack shit happened after.
You were 1 cent poorer.
You went the opposite direction.
Yeah.
All right, next is save while others waste. This is a good one for you, George. You splurge on a lot of technology.
I'm guilty as sin. Whenever I go in an Apple store, all the Apple people, they're some of my best friends there. Actually, Monday I'm listing one of the Apple store employees' homes for sale, which I can't wait to blow it out. And the thing is, I'm very meticulous. I do my research. It's funny because my fiance always jokes around. She's half Jewish, and she goes, "You're more Jewish than I am." But the thing is, I do splurge on some things, but I'm very calculated, and I do my homework. The last time, she always tells me every time I'm getting ready to go buy a car, she's like, "Please don't torture me," because I'm always like, "Babe, what do you think about this? Hey, I think I could do this with this price and everything else." Dude, car salesman hate me. It took me 3.5 months to buy my car just before the lease I have now. But, at the end of the day.
I would honestly say, though, on your behalf, I would say that 90% of what you buy, you actually can use for your business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is good. Most people are splurging, living above their means.
GoPro camera today.
And it's strictly
Going to Universal.
it's strictly for pleasure. But at this stage in the game, most of what we buy usually can double up between business and pleasure.
Of course.
No, I definitely agree with that, like 100%. But just be like cognizant of like what you're doing. Like people, one of the biggest things I always hear from my friends or other people that want to start stuff is like, dude, I don't have the money to do this, or how do you have the money to make that happen? Well, I don't frickin' go out and buy 50 frickin' beers on a Saturday night anymore.
Priority change.
Yeah. Look at where you're spending. Like, start saving and invest in your business what you want. Like, that's I don't just go out for fun and games anymore. If you want to hit me up on a Friday night, chances are I'm in my PJs by 6:30 p.m. and I'm ready to go to bed. Like, I don't splurge on things that are just so unnecessary. It's either for the business or for something that's going to help propel me in a better way that it's going to help me.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with living below your means for a little while.
Yeah.
Like, I've said this quote before, right now you're living like most people won't, so in the future you can live like most people can't. Now, Gary Vee is a good example where he had said that, in I think it was his early 30s, he had said that he was making like 40 grand a year, while some of his other friends were making like $1 million. But he knew what he was doing at the time. He knew his vision that he wanted to execute. Yep, he was building
the long game,
playing the long game. He didn't worry about the 40 grand. He was living below his means, and now he can pretty much do whatever he wants. He's just the first example that comes to mind. There's plenty of entrepreneurs that have lived below their means and have been frugal so that they can in the future not have to check prices on a menu when they go out to eat.
Yeah, no, totally. All right, next, persist while others quit.
Oh man, it's funny because especially, and I feel bad because I bring this into my realm of real estate, but right now,
It's okay, George.
I'm sorry.
We love you.
I'm guilty.
You're not sorry about anything,
Self-plug.
George. We don't say we're sorry on the Unstoppable
Yeah.
Pursuit podcast. We say get out of the way because
No.
we're coming through.
But basically being persistent and everything else. We're going to go through a huge market shift right here in Southwest Florida. It's 5 years up, 5 years down, and everything else. And I'm telling all my agents on my team, the agents in my brokerage, and everything else, stop going to buy that huge effing house. Stop going overspending, because when the storm comes, we have almost 7,000 real estate agents just in Collier County. There's 15,000 in Lee County. They're going to evaporate just like water. I mean, I'm giving actually a speech to high schoolers next Wednesday. My old Barron Collier High School, big shout out to the Cougars. But
Shout out to the Cougs.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm giving a speech to the marketing class, but I'm telling everybody at the end of the day, as the big picture, you got to prepare yourself for whatever life throws your way, on a personal or professional level. But, again, it comes down to, just really taking calculated risk, being consistent, and just rising above. You want to be that, foam on the espresso. So.
Oh, I like that analogy. That was
Be the
good,
foam,
man.
be
Be
the
that persist while others quit. This is the story of the two miners, right? Where they go down the mine and the one gave up. Did I take your
No,
thing?
but I was thinking of that driving in my truck today. I had that image in my head because I think I may have gotten it from George, and I think that's a perfect scenario. So go ahead and explain that.
Well, I mean, everybody knows. I think a lot of it, we've talked about it before. I mean, the two miners go down in the mine, and they're both chipping away. One quits, and the other strikes one more time, and boom, gold. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you don't know when that's going to happen. Now, we can talk about the market and all that stuff, if it's good idea or bad idea and everything else, but never, ever, ever just give up. Persist through. Because I think Seth Godin wrote a book called The Dip. There's going to be a time in your life, whatever you're doing, whether you love it or not, you love real estate, but there was probably a time in your first couple years where you hit a dip, where you felt like, oh shit, I don't know if I can get out of this, but you had to persist and dig and put your feet in the ground and just go one foot in front of the other over and over and over until you made it out. But you have to be able to do that. That's got to be your mindset, and you can't just give up because the one dip happens, the one hurdle happens, you step in some shit. That's just going to happen in any business, anything that you're doing. So learn how to persist, because 99% of people will quit, and you will win if you persist.
Yes. I'm forgetting my quote. I had it written down here too. Oh. If you are consistent, you will get it. If you are persistent, you will keep it. Man, that was really. I think the bank's wearing off,
This guy wrote a book.
Anyways, moving
Full of
along.
quotes.
The examples that I have are like a runner who's very persistent.
Yeah.
A lot of runners will quit before they actually hit their second wind, But the ones that are persistent, they hit their second wind, and they're able to keep going on, and they blast through. So it's kind of like the miners thing. I also have written down here for people that are starting a new exercise regimen. Those first couple of weeks of soreness is when a lot of people actually do quit. Within the first couple of weeks. But it's the ones that are persistent and that keep going. Those are the ones that work through that muscle soreness. And sure enough, after the third, fourth, fifth week, that muscle soreness goes away.
Yeah.
And they're still at the gym and they're pursuing their optimal health and wellness, while the others already quit. So just forget that I forgot that quote.
No, I already forgot about it, because that was such good information, because that is true. How many times have you had friends that got sore, they're like, dude, I can't go back to the gym for a week, and then they never go back, because they're like, I'm so sore.
Right.
But you have to push through. It's so true. Right. I mean, look at me, I'm buff. All right, the next one is study while others sleep.
This is perfect for you, George, by the way. No, serious. Because when I'm sleeping, you're still up doing stuff. So
yeah, for me, it's the passion that drives me through to do, to put in those 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, you know. And, you know, this is a quote that I read from Mark Cuban's book a while ago. No, I'm not forgetting this. So basically, Mark Cuban says in his book, title. He's three of his books. And I'll remember it. I'll put it in the show notes underneath. That show. No, but basically he says, being an entrepreneur, you rather work 80 hours for yourself than 40 hours for somebody else. Yeah. And I've met a lot of people and potential future business partners, and they say, and they reach out to me, and I get all these opportunities and like opportunities here with you guys. I cherish every single moment, but at the end of the day, you know, I basically sit there and I try and reflect on every opportunity that comes to me, and I try and time everything right, and I try and make sure I fit everything in, because, you know, we're only here so long, and you got to just explode in every opportunity and make sure that no matter what it takes, if they said, hey, we're filming at midnight, I'd still be here.
I know.
And he would. I will vouch.
Seriously.
I will vouch on George's behalf.
No, I don't doubt that at all. And you know, what comes to mind for me when it's, you know, study while others sleep is like how much time all three of us like invest in ourselves, like reading books,
Brandon.
You know, listening to podcasts,
research,
you know, I mean,
memorizing
quotes. Like, I mean, I don't. I mean, a lot of people, like, I don't really care. I used to care a lot about sports. Like, I really don't care that much about sports anymore. Like, I used to like buy the Cavs like sports package because I was so addicted to Cavs like basketball. Like, I just was. But now I'd rather spend my time taking like that 2 hours I'd watch this basketball game and listen to something, invest in myself, study, learn more. I mean, there's a reason we're certified in our areas of interest. Like, dude, I didn't become certified in leadership because I didn't frickin' study or, you know, while others slept. So you have to invest in yourself. You have to study. You have to put the time in, because I guarantee others aren't. Like, if you put more time in, the preparation, you know, the prep that goes into this, how much time and effort. Dude, if you prepare, when your opportunity comes, you will be ready. Period.
This point makes me think of actually last night, because I'm at the gym and I'm on the treadmill, and I was like, I was thinking, well, what's George doing right now?
We're eating pizza.
No, but I was on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was at Planet Fitness, and people were eating pizza off to the side, and the lunk alarm was going off. No, but I was at the gym, and I didn't want to listen to music anymore. I got on the treadmill, and Brian sent me a link to another podcast, and he goes, bro, you need to listen to this podcast. Like, this is what we need to be doing. We need to be implementing this stuff. Listen to what they're saying. So I'm on the treadmill, and, you know, I'm doing my cardio. I got my headphones on. I am listening to what this podcast is saying, and we're trying to implement a lot of these things. So I'm investing this time, killing two birds with one stone, to try to further my knowledge so that we can get this podcast out to everyone for people to listen and watch and to try to pay it forward. So I think as we get older, we're realizing more and more that we do need to invest that time into ourselves. It's not selfish to invest in yourself, because you're actually being selfish by not investing in yourself. Yeah. Because then you're not going to be your best version, and then you're not going to be able to offer yourself up to inspire others by not being your best version.
I agree. And what you just said, like, and we live by this quote: invest, learn, teach. So Mike is on the treadmill investing. He's in himself by listening. He's learning what they're doing, and now he's here teaching. You know what I mean? Yeah. We invest, learn, teach at all things. Stop when you learn something new, teach it. Learn it and teach it. Invest, learn, teach. Don't be selfish. Like, this stuff needs to get out there. We are nothing more. You guys are not. We are this. We are the can. We are the can. We're just a vehicle for information. That is all we're doing here on this show. I'm not an expert, but you know what? I'm giving expert information from things that I consume. Mm-hmm. You consume what's in here. We're a vessel. That's all we are. Period. Like, and I'm fine with that. Like, that's what we do. Like, we care so much about that if I were to sit there and keep that information within me, I would be so selfish, and it would be such a disservice to myself and to our community and to our people and to our tribe, because, like, we love you guys. Like, that's all we have to go on right now. We don't have $1 million business, but we have people. We have you guys to help propel us forward. And if you guys need belief in yourselves that you don't have it at the time, like, jump on our back. Like, we'll keep walking forward for you. Like, we're gonna do that. We're gonna put in the work. I can promise you that every day.
And the one thing I wanted to say about this podcast that Brian sent for me to listen last night is they talked about getting started as an entrepreneur. The people that are listening and watching right now, they're probably thinking, well, I work a full-time job, 8 hours a day, you know? Well, you know what, you guys? So do I right now. I am. I'm not full blown out on my own right now, but what they said on that podcast was, and this is what Brian and I do and what George does, is if you got to wake up an hour earlier, that's what they said. If you got to stay, and actually they only use 15 minutes on the podcast. The guy said, if you need to wake up 15 minutes and bang out some work before you go to your real job, then that's what you do in 15 minutes at night. But you know what? I'm sure most of us could maybe find 30 minutes to an hour before and after work at some point in time to invest a little extra time into your side hustle. So it is possible, because I'm telling you, not everyone's able to go full-blown entrepreneur. Just out of nowhere, you know, that's not very practical. You still need to pay the bills and not put yourself in an extremely vulnerable situation where you can't pay your mortgage and whatnot. So, you know, the investment in yourself is worth it. Don't feel like you're wasting your time if you are waking up 30 minutes ahead of time and staying up 30 minutes later, and you're putting that work in to advance your personal self.
Yeah, I love it. All right, let's get into the challenge and the health tip. The challenge for today that I believe is the best is make a decision. If you've been thinking, I want to start this business, or if you've been thinking, I want to do this side hustle, I want to start this podcast, or I want to put my art out into the world, like, just do it. Make the decision and say, you know what, it's not where I want it to be, but it can get there. Make the decision to push whatever that is. Take the first step in the podcast. Take the first step in your speaking gigs, your art. Start that thing that you want. Just make a decision, please, please, for all of us. Like, don't hold out on us. We need you. You're here for a reason. Make your dent in the world and start today.
The health tip for episode 38 is in regards to pre-workout. Now everyone says, Mike, what pre-workout should I do? I don't have any energy. There's a couple different options. One is to just take a straight caffeine pill. I know a lot of people that actually just take caffeine pills, maybe 150 milligrams before they actually go to work out, because they don't work out well when they have like food or anything in their stomach. You know, they may get bloated or upset stomach. Another opportunity is to drink an energy drink. Now, you don't want to drink one that has tons of sugar in it. Unfortunately, sugar-free versions usually have some artificial sweetener in it, which may upset people's stomach. But for example, like Bang Energy has 300 milligrams of caffeine, so that may be a lot for some people, but that's an option. Another little thing that I like to do, and I talk about this in my book, is to actually brew an espresso at home or an actual cup of coffee and take a scoop of protein. Vanilla usually mixes well, tastes good. Put that scoop of protein in with your coffee and mix it up. So not only are you getting about 100 milligrams of caffeine in the coffee, you're also getting some protein in you, which it's good to have amino acids in your bloodstream when you're actually lifting weights. So those are a few options if you are looking to get a little bit more energy before the gym. Good luck.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, hey, first and foremost, we got to thank George Oberdorster. If you guys are in the Southwest Florida area.
Thank you.
That was too bad. It was like the Ninja Turtles right there. All right, anyway, well, I want to thank him so much. If you guys are looking at real estate, check him out, redhotnaples.com, right? Check out redhotnaples.com. Follow him. He's on Instagram, Snap, Periscope.
And I want to say something real quick. For those that are listening or watching, please reach out to George, because I'll tell you right now, you guys, I made a buttload of money when George sold my house. George sold my house for 50 grand over the appraised actual price of the property, and I didn't make 50 grand. I made way more than 50 grand, but I'm just telling you that it sold for 50 grand more than appraised. So please, go to George if you want to do an epic sale or purchase of a home.
And his work ethic. His work ethic. And so thank you, buddy. Thank you for your knowledge, your time, your resources, all the stuff that you put out into the world, because you add so much value to everybody through all your social platforms. And we're just like proud to have you on, proud to be friends with you, man.
I mean,
so
it's all
thank
about
you.
helping others. It's all about elevating others and taking care of people. At the end of the day, I totally believe in good karma.
My mom loves you too.
Right.
She said hi.
I love
George.
your mom.
My mom loves George.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you Facebook Live. Thank you to all the podcast listeners. check out our website, subscribe to our newsletter. You guys are going to love it. We are doing something with a community, video-based community. I'm telling you, nobody's doing this. We are I'm telling you what we think is the first best video community out there. You're going to want to check it out. So be a part of that. And hey, we love you. We love your ears and eyeballs and all of the times you share and feedback. Everything means so much to us. All we have is you right now, and we're going to treat you the best. You put us in a caring contest, we're going to out-care anybody. I'm going to tell you that much. All right. Hey, stay unstoppable, my friends, and we will see you all on the next episode.